Forget Playwright, forget Cypress, forget all of these automation tools. Chrome have just released the MCP server to take care of all of your diagnostic needs.
Can we chat to AI to use Chrome?
You actually mentioned this. This is why I kind of wanted to bring it up, because you asked whether you can inspect the Chrome DevTools and look at the code and do this and do that. This is what enables you to do. So MCPs are basically an API into a tool, and this will become very relevant later on when we talk about Dev Day. They've basically given you an API that you can modify and do things and look at things in the Chrome browser, whether that's diagnostics. Have you ever done Lighthouse and things like that? You can look at the code, you can look at what's on the actual screen itself.
But does this happen on my machine, or is it like on a virtual server? Like
this is on your machine. So the web page you're currently looking at right now inside of Chrome has now an API wrapped around it.
Okay.
That you can now interact with using a tool that has MCP functionality. So Claude, Desktop, Warp. I don't know what do people use for MCP. So you can say, Chrome MCP server. What browser tab are you on? Something like that. Or what's the current Lighthouse score of this page? Something like that.
That is super cool. Yes, that is super. So I can theoretically, I build a project with Webflow and then use Cursor to know what I'm building
what's on the screen. I don't know if you can take action on those things. I don't know. I literally don't know. But yeah, you can. What can you use it for? Verified code changes in real time. So what browser, verifying the browser that your change worked as expected. So this is obviously if you're developing, right? If you're writing some code and you just want to check that it actually appeared on the front end. So this is where we get into, testing and things like that whilst we're developing.
No more pasting of my console log into Cursor, so Cursor can just read it.
Cursor can just read it, exactly. A few images aren't loading. What's happening? So it could, and then because it can read the console, it can look at those console logs and do all that. Whereas
the network tab, a lot of times I had issues with
exactly
navigating the network tab and understand what is not loading. Why is that not working?
So look, it can take action. Why does submitting the form fail after entering an email address? So this is obviously has to submit that form to be able to give you what the errors are in the console. Mm-hmm. So this is really, really good. And performance audits. Look, this is what I was saying about the Lighthouse stuff as well. Live styling and layout issues. So we can see the code, you can see the CSS. It can be really, really handy. And it's just a simple case of adding that into Cursor. That's all you got to do.
So how does it come to play with something like, these agentic stuff that Chrome is trying to do? And of course, something like Dia browser, because with this, does that mean that the AI layer that we will have like more control over whatever page you're on?
I don't think it has any, it doesn't demonstrate any compatibility with the AI layer that Dia has or Comet has or whatever. There's no MCP or there's no API to interact with that sort of stuff. We're just interested in the code that actually gets rendered on the page and the logs in the console and the network traffic and stuff like that. So it's really the development side that it empowers. So it's really cool.
This is really interesting. I really love the idea. And this is going to open so many doors.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I've been really going hard in trying to sort of formalize an AI coding workflow. And one of the big things for me has been MCP servers. And so I've got an MCP server that goes out and searches, because generic webs, there are MCP servers that actually search specifically GitHub and coding related stuff. It's like Google for coders. It only ever returns coders results and things like that. So that could obviously refine, when Claude Code goes and does a web search, it's going to get a bunch of results from nothing to do with development. So I've got Exa, which is my MCP server for doing that. I've got Ref, which is up-to-date documentation. And so with that, I've then got rules and sub-agents that pick up on whenever I do this, use that MCP.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
one thing, and I released a video to my patrons yesterday, which is a real in-depth look at how I'm using Claude Code and doing the rest of it. And I finalize it by saying one thing I really want to get better at, which is where Chrome MCP comes in, is the actual looking at the rendering and bringing that into the life cycle. So I would write a rule to say something along the lines of verify, this and that.
So you mentioned Lighthouse. So we have Unlighthouse, which is a funny name. It's literally Google Lighthouse, but for your entire site. So it instead of like just lighthousing one page, it takes your entire website, like all of your pages, and it tests everything. So it's really cool to basically just do this with one command for your entire website.
I don't know if I like that idea. I don't know if we talk about context. You start to try and I can see the appeal of like testing the whole site, but page by page, like who wants to be testing all of this stuff all at once?
This is on Lighthouse,
mm-hmm.
and it gives you this view, which is really cool. Look,
you wouldn't run this all the time. You would do this like once every so often.
Yeah,
like, this is too much to do after every change. You give yourself a break, I think, a little bit, and like
yeah, I don't know why I thought of this, because when I thought of an MCP that can do at something with a page that I give it to, maybe it could do it with multiple ones. And
because to bring it to talk about the AI side of things and improving dev workflows and stuff like that, it's becoming more and more apparent to me that you get much better results if you're very isolated and focused on one specific area. And I think that goes in this case as well. Work on the performance on a page by page basis. Like what good does it take? I mean, the one thing I can see that's quite good about that is that you can test the whole site, and then if something is coming up red, as in really bad, there's your priority. That's all I can see that's really good for. But either way, it's whatever.
Cool.
But so MCP servers are becoming a big part of my workflow. The only thing to say about it is that maybe for not your case, but MCP servers eat up context. So I noticed I had a bunch of MCP servers like enabled for my website, as I'm coding, and I would run out of context very, very quickly because it's eating up loads of context. And you can check your context in Claude Code. You can get like a nice diagram and you see that MCP adds up. So I removed a bunch because I'm like, well, I don't really do that. I don't really use that very regularly through my coding workflow. Like I might as well just do that outside, or I'll do that once a day or something like that. I just don't need it I don't need it like within arm's reach. So I just turn off that MCP, save myself a bit of context. But this does like something that would work its way into my 100%, like I'd need it all the time MCP server. I just need to build that workflow. So
this is part of a larger conversation on my show, Cmd+AI, which we stream live every single week. We discuss the news and all things related to AI in the world of design and web. Catch us next week and join in the banter.